and
Oddworld.
Hey oddballs, I'm your host Jensen, and welcome to episode 132. Alright, so I think I've landed on the new subject that I want to start at the beginning of these, and I'm pulling it from a book called How to Be a Psychic, and there are 3 types of psychic intuition, and you're going to learn about one of them today. So here we go. It's
Lesson time.
The first type of psychic intuition is deductive psychic intuition. Deductive psychic images come from your unconscious mind's ability to take an external sensory stimuli. That's not as complicated as it sounds. Your 5 sensory receivers, eyes, ears, mouth, skin, and nose, are constantly bombarded with stimuli in the form of external pictures, sounds, tastes, tactile sensations, temperature changes, and smells. You also experience external emotions or energies unrecognized by your conscious mind. You take in a lot of information that you are not consciously aware of because it is absorbed by the unconscious mind where it is stored. When your conscious mind has a question that it cannot answer, this question will go to the unconscious mind, which will mull over the problem and rely on its stored data to come up with a response. In the meantime, your conscious mind usually goes on to another subject and forgets what it was looking for, but your unconscious mind stays hard at work. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, a psychic insight appears. Your unconscious mind has come to a logical psychic solution to your problem, one that your conscious mind hadn't thought of. Okay, so I find this fun and I hope you guys are learning something from it because I definitely did. I've had this book for a while and I've read some of it, but not all of it. So I just kind of wanted to share the things that I've read and things that I haven't read yet. So this could be fun. If you guys enjoy it, let me know. And we're going to go on to stories.
This comes from familiar-nothing 8871 on Reddit.
When I was about 10 or 11, I saw a black shadow woman watching me sleep. My radio would randomly turn on in the middle of the night, or the alarms on it would go off, and I didn't even set them. And the water faucets would turn on. Little things like that at first, and then I kept waking up around 3 a.m. to something happening. Like one night, I had my door wide open, and I was hearing little footsteps just run around in the kitchen. Mind you, this was a 1-story house and my parents' room was next door to me. I was scared and turned to face the wall next to my bed so I wouldn't see whatever was going on. Then, out of nowhere, I heard this really loud man's hum. And it freaked me out and I started bawling. I went to my parents' room and tried to wake them up, and my mom did, but told me to go back to bed. She didn't believe me. I shut my door after that, and then there was nothing for the rest of the night. Another time was when my dad and I were watching a scary movie in the living room. We had crucifixes all around the house because my mom was Catholic and super religious. As we were watching the movie, a cross falls off the wall. My dad thought it was weird and told my mom. And again, she didn't believe it. And she said it was coincidence. Anytime we would watch a horror movie, it seemed to provoke something in the house and things would happen. Something that stuck with me and is the most terrifying is that when my mom was a kid, she said she came to this exact house with a friend and wanted to play with the little boy who lived here. They played in the basement, and that part of the house was always really cold and musty, and you just felt like you were being watched down there. Anyways, as they were playing, there was a sheet on the wall covering something big. It came down all of a sudden, and it was a massive picture of the devil. My mom and friend were freaked the fuck out, and they were telling each other not to look at it because it was horrifying. I forgot to mention there was a party going on at the house while they were playing, and they told a person about it, and they were like, we gotta get out of here. It's weird to me because why years later we rent this house and she remembers being here before? I would also have dreams of this scary looking lady chasing me in the basement. Now I'm realizing that's probably a ghost. After we moved out, I would have little things happen to me that were unexplainable, and still to this day I have experiences, but it doesn't happen very often. Yeah, I'm not really sure why your mom bought this house, or rented the house, after the fact that she was a little girl and there was a huge devil painting downstairs. I am not saying by any means that the owner of the painting was doing, bad things, because they could be weird like me and like shit like that. The difference is I personally won't have that in my house. You do you, boo. If you do, I'm not judging you. I don't give a shit. But I don't want that in my house, and I wouldn't rent a house that had it in there. I mean, okay, yeah, that sounds pretty judgy, but I don't know. Maybe it has absolutely nothing to do with this picture. Like, my only thought is maybe the picture lured something in there. Maybe. Or maybe the house was already haunted prior to. So, I don't know. There seems to be like really big hauntings here. And the fact that this person was like, oh yeah, the thing that really stuck with me is that, my mom came here as a kid. I'm like, dude, what about the crucifixes falling off the damn wall every time you watch a scary movie? That's pretty scary, and that sticks with me. I also understand that we're all different, but I don't know, man. Like, clearly this house is haunted, and also having a shadow standing over you, a black shadow woman standing over you, watching you sleep, especially when you're like 10 or 11. Oh, why? Why is it always the children? I mean, I know why, but like, why? It just makes me sad. It makes me sad when they're kids because you can't comprehend what is happening, and it's scary. Now, as an adult, when it happens, yeah, it's still absolutely scary, but I don't know. I always feel bad when people are young and they have experiences like this. But anyhow, I would like to know what you guys think, and let's go on to the next story.
This comes from comfortable-wear-968 on Reddit.
This was about 4 years back. I was home alone and lying in bed. I wasn't about to fall asleep or anything. As I go to check my phone, I end up blacking out right there. All of a sudden, I'm shown what basically looked like strange imaging of an old town that looks like a burning hellscape. And there's a creepy figure directly in front of me with large, circular, sunken eyes and very small black pupils. It had basically no nose and a giant black creepy smile that almost looked like the mouth was torn open. While I'm seeing this, it feels as if my entire body was being electrocuted from head to toe. I then came back to on the bed like nothing happened. Still not sure about what happened, but a lot of anomalies occurred in that place. One day, I was sitting in my mother's room hanging out. From my view, the bathroom was in the corner of my eye, and my mother could see it straight from her point of view. I see a black cloth of some sort drag into the bathroom in my peripheral vision in the hallway, so I quickly looked over there. It was the blackest thing I've ever seen. There were 5 bulbs in that bathroom, and I wasn't able to see the slightest bit of light reflecting off of it. I tried ignoring it, but right after, I looked over, and my mother proceeds to ask, "So you saw that too?" And I just started sweating. I asked her what she saw, and she describes exactly what I just saw. There are times when my mother and I heard full-on conversations and loud thumps upstairs when we were alone in the house. Random things getting knocked around. I don't know, it was a creepy place. I still look back and wonder why that place was so strange. Why does my mind think that, like, when this person passes out, they were reliving a past life of theirs, but like not necessarily a past life, but like the in-between part, and maybe they were in hell being tortured? It's really fucked up, I know. Or maybe they were like living somebody else's reality, like I guess a spirit, your soul, whatever you want to call it. That's where my mind went. But then it kind of changed after that, after reading the rest of the story, because there's a super black figure in the bathroom. To me, it sounds like a big black mass that's in there, and it's blacking out the light. So maybe there's more to this than just that. And it's kind of weird because both of these stories have like creepy elements that are like hellish, if that makes sense. And I promise you I did not actually put these together. So it's kind of weird. Sometimes these stories fall right into place. Sometimes stories I have to like pick and choose and put together. But I mean, I did technically put these stories together, but I only did it because one was shorter and one was longer. But either way, I don't know. It's weird. It's creepy. You might think that's stupid. I don't know. But this one freaks me out though. Imagine you're just laying in bed and then all of a sudden you black out and have this like weird dream nightmare experience thing where you're being electrocuted and there's, I don't know, burning hellscape around you. Ew. That's so gross, honestly. It's freaking nasty. But then I think there's more to it because of the dark black figure in the bathroom that is completely blackening out the light. I don't know. I'm curious to know what you guys think, because this one just gives me the heebie-jeebies. But anyhow, if you have a story like either story today or any paranormal story in general, head on over to my website and let me know. And I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And well, it's an odd world after all. Oddballs, thank you for listening. And if you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to leave 5 stars or thumbs up on whatever podcast platform you listen on. If you have any comments for this episode, comment below or head over to Instagram and comment on this episode's preview. To submit a story or for more information, go to it'sanoddworldafterall.com.